I'm an Enigma, but I have an alpha husband. An alpha who's not only cold but also emotionally unavailable. It wasn't until I awakened that I realized, I'm just a cannon fodder side character in someone else's story. And he has an Omega he sees as his one and only. Unless I've completely lost my mind, there's no way I'd spend my life with a stubborn, cold alpha like him. So I dumped him, walked right out and hit the bars to flirt with some cute little Omegas. But that very night, he caught me and pinned me down against his ripped 8-pack abs. That sharp-tongued, tight-lipped alpha was suddenly running his mouth with all kinds of filthy talk. Didn't you say you're an Enigma? Then why are you already this wet? Speak. 1. Hunter, I'm going into heat. Just one kiss. Please. Get lost. Just one. Smack. TCH. Got slapped again. That's the 4th time. First time. Okay, maybe we weren't close. 2nd time. I figured he was just shy. 3rd time. Fine. I let it slide. But this is the 4th. One more dose of suppressant tonight and I might not even be an Enigma anymore. With that in mind, I pressed my tongue against my cheek and gave Hunter's absurdly good-looking face a dangerous look. He's my own husband. What's wrong with giving him a proper mark? Hunter, the second he looked up, I lunged and bit down on the gland at his neck. Just caught a whiff of his sandalwood scent, hadn't even broken skin yet, when he kicked me hard to the ground. Felt like he cracked a rib. Gabriel, what are you, a dog? He cursed, then planted his foot right on the side of my already swollen face. From this angle, all I could see were Hunter's long, straight legs and the firm curve of his ass under those tailored slacks. Maybe I was staring too openly, because he pressed his foot down harder. The cold sole of his shoe, mixed with pain, sent a sharp shock straight to my nerves. It hurt like hell, but damn if it didn't feel kind of amazing. Of course, that's the man I'm into. I licked the corner of my lips, my red tongue trailing over the tip of his shoe, leaving a shiny streak behind. You're really hard here. Ha! I let out a breathy moan, deliberately husky and laced with meaning. So what if Hunter's cold as ice? That doesn't beat a 100% compatibility match. Sure enough, his Adam's apple bobbed, and for a split second, his pupils lost focus. But he snapped out of it fast, crouched down, grabbed my chin, and slapped me again. Definitely doesn't treat me like a person. He looked furious. Even when he stormed out, he was shaking like he'd seen a monster. But hey, that's still progress, right? At least I managed to piss him off. 2. It took effort to get off the floor. My face was burning, probably swollen beyond recognition. But honestly, this was nothing. Hunter's done worse. As long as he doesn't completely wreck me, I'm willing to put up with just about anything. Once I got myself together, I casually gathered up his clothes, folded them neatly, and crawled into one of his shirts. Then I FaceTimed my best buddy, Jasper. Kid, I'm starting to think I'm not even an Enigma. How else do you explain me getting my ass handed to me by an alpha? Cocooned under his shirt, I stabbed a suppressant into my thigh. A minute later, the heat finally started to fade. Let me guess, you got your ass handed to you by your man again. Ugh, I told you back when I was chasing him, didn't I? These ice-cold beauties are impossible to handle, especially if they're alphas. Like, come on, what alpha in their right mind would ever agree to be marked by someone else? I knew he was right, but still, shut up. I really like Hunter, the kind of like that starts with lust and only gets worse. If I didn't, I wouldn't have offered to marry him just to bail out his company when it was on the verge of bankruptcy. I paid off $1 billion in debt, and still haven't even held his hand. Don't even bring it up. He hit me again. Even worse this time. Stepped on my face. Man, my face is swollen. I turned the camera to show Jasper my battle wounds, looking all pitiful. TSK. Bro, you're an Enigma. Why do you keep letting him walk all over you? If you ask me, just go full caveman on him. Once you two do the deed, what's he gonna do? Dump you? I inhaled his lingering scent from the shirt, took a deep breath, and said, I would, but he's too strong. I literally can't win in a fight. Come on, you're telling me an Enigma can't beat an alpha? You're full of it. You just don't want to hurt him. Maybe, I muttered back vaguely, not wanting to get into it further. Truth is, yeah, I couldn't bring myself to go all out. I'd tease him, he'd hit me, and that was it. If I really fought back, Hunter might not win, but I was scared that if I went too far, I'd lose even this weird excuse of a relationship. Alright, I gotta go. Mine's about to be home. Just don't go too far with your games. Worst case, get a divorce. You're a catch, plenty of fish in the sea. Yeah, bye. I hung up and was just about to toss my phone aside when the tracking app popped up a warning. Alert, target has entered a danger zone. Immediate action required. 3. What the hell was that supposed to mean? He just rejected me, and then immediately went to a bar, and not just any bar, but that kind of bar. I instantly dropped all the playful thoughts and scrambled out from under Hunter's clothes. No time to change. I grabbed a jacket and bolted out the door. As I sped down the road, I couldn't stop replaying in my mind how I first met Hunter. It was in a bar too. Back then, he wasn't the high and mighty CEO everyone fears today. He was just a young heir, recently handed the reins of a crumbling family business, getting crushed by rival factions. That night, some alpha grabbed his ass, and Hunter smashed a bottle over the guy's head. But this kind of place, most people had some power. Naturally, Hunter was quickly overpowered by a dozen high-ranking alphas and left looking totally wrecked. I just happened to walk by, and the moment I saw that icy, devastatingly beautiful face, something stirred inside me. Sympathy, maybe, more likely, desire. I released my Enigma pheromones, instantly suppressing every alpha in the room, and dragged Hunter out of there. Then, while he was dazed and out of it, I stole a kiss. First time I kissed him, he froze up, ice cold, like he was ready to kill me. But he was so good looking. His scent was so intoxicating. I couldn't stop myself. I kissed him again, and again, until he finally kicked me across the floor. I lay there holding my stomach, wincing from the pain, but still grinning like an idiot. That was the moment I knew, I was hooked. Later, when I found out my family's business was about to collapse, I took the initiative. I approached Hunter, proposed a business marriage. The deal? I'd pay off his debt, every cent. In return, he'd marry me and cooperate during my heat cycles. He agreed, but clearly, he had no intention of keeping the whole bargain. Ha! Unconditional cooperation. Ha! I scoffed, slamming the accelerator harder. The engine roared beneath me. Hunter, you'd better not be screwing me over, because if you are, I honestly don't know what I'll do. 4. The bar was soaked in neon and pheromones, the bass vibrating through the walls. Alpha and Omega scents mingled in the air, thick, chaotic, almost dizzying. I frowned, covering my nose, and pushed my way through the crowd, eyes scanning for Hunter. The tracker said he was upstairs, in a private lounge. I made it halfway up the stairs when I heard teasing voices and suggestive laughter. The door wasn't even fully closed, so I got a perfect view of what was going on inside. Hunter was still in the same sharp black suit from earlier, only now, his tie was undone, and the top buttons of his shirt were open. He lounged on the sofa, legs crossed, looking like royalty at an auction, except there was an Omega sprawled across his lap. My grip on the doorframe tightened, joints cracked. I wanted to storm in, right then and there, but part of me had to know, was Hunter really only into Omegas? I finally dragged my gaze off Hunter's face and looked at the Omega. No doubt, gorgeous, practically radiating seduction pheromones. Every alpha in the room had gone into sensitivity mode, except Hunter. Right, I forgot, he's famously indifferent. Even now, when the Omega leaned into him, accidentally brushing somewhere sensitive, Hunter grabbed the guy's hair, tugged him back, and clicked his tongue. I have a husband. My heart did a backflip, but before I could even enjoy the moment, a wave of foreign memories surged through my mind, memories that weren't mine. That's when I realized, the world I was living in, it was a novel, and me, I was the cannon fodder villain, the one who used family influence to force the main lead into marriage. Hunter was the male lead, and the Omega in his lap, that was Miles, the beloved protagonist everyone falls for. In the story, I was obsessed with Hunter, clingy, manipulative, even resorted to coercion. Hunter couldn't stand me. He kept lovers outside our marriage, and had a twisted, star-crossed love affair with Miles. In the end, I lost everything. Everyone abandoned me. My family collapsed. Hunter and Miles teamed up and had me thrown into a psych ward. And there, a pack of alphas ended my life on a cold hospital bed, while Hunter and Miles lived happily ever after. As I finished processing all of this, I went completely numb. No wonder things between me and Hunter were so messed up. I wasn't crazy. I was scripted that way. But screw that. There's no way I'm letting that happen. I might have been obsessed with Hunter before, but that Gabriel, he's gone. I'm the upgraded, awakened version, and there's no way I'm wrecking myself over a man who doesn't even love me. I told you, my husband's here. Hunter must have spotted me. He raised an eyebrow lazily, his tone unreadable. But now, that husband label doesn't move me anymore. I took a deep breath, squared my shoulders, and stepped inside with a smile. 5. Everyone's face dropped the moment they saw me. Not surprising. In their world, Gabriel was infamous. An arrogant, entitled Enigma heir who threw his weight around and guarded Hunter like a rabid dog. I used to humiliate any alpha or omega who got too close to him, right in public. No doubt they were all silently cursing me for ruining their fun tonight, but guess what? I'm not that Gabriel anymore. I ignored their stares and strolled right up to Hunter, flashing him a cheeky grin. Why didn't you invite me to the party? Hunter raised an eyebrow, clearly not expecting this reaction. What? Not happy to see me? Before he could answer, I slid into the seat next to him, threw an arm around a nearby Omega's waist, and spread my legs like I owned the damn couch, just for extra spice. I gave the Omega's waist a squeeze. He blushed and glanced at me shyly. Perfect. I was giving full spoiled playboy energy. Sure enough, Hunter's expression turned stone cold. He stared at me, eyes sharp as knives. I blinked innocently. Wait, seriously? Don't tell me you're jealous. You already have a little Omega of your own. What? Now you want mine too? That's a bit greedy, don't you think? I leaned closer to the Omega, murmuring flirtatiously, babe, don't you think Hunter really doesn't want me here? The Omega, flushed from my pheromones, melted into my arms, voice soft as silk. Why wouldn't he want you? You're amazing. I smirked in satisfaction, locking eyes with Hunter. Every vein in his hand stood out as he clenched his glass. He was livid, and I was thrilled. Let's see if you can really stay indifferent now. Hunter, let me make this simple. I'm done playing nice. This marriage, take it or leave it. Hunter finally spoke, voice low and laced with warning. Gabriel, enough, enough? You think I'll stop just because you said so? What am I? Your pet? I turned to the Omega and planted a loud kiss on his cheek. Then I stood and walked away, totally ignoring the sound of Hunter's glass shattering behind me. 6. I stormed out of the bar, breathing in the fresh night air like I hadn't had oxygen in days. I had to admit, in just 3 years, Hunter's pheromones had become insanely potent, so strong that they could easily suppress mine. I used to enjoy being dominated by him. I even found it thrilling. But now, I just wanted to stay far, far away. Screw that whole main character alpha thing. He could have that title. I was done playing along. Fueled by righteous indignation, I jumped back into my car and sped off toward the villa. Once there, I ransacked the place and took every valuable I could get my hands on. I'd sold off most of my inherited assets just to help Hunter pay off his debts. So really, taking a few pricey items back was more than justified. Even if Hunter found out, he couldn't say anything. While stuffing designer watches and contract papers into my duffel bag, I messaged Jasper. Son, Daddy's moving out. Find me a place with good security, a decent neighborhood, and the farther from that dog Hunter, the better. He replied instantly. Wait, are you serious? You're really divorcing Hunter? What about the company? Let it burn for all I care. It's not my problem anymore. TSK. Well, aren't you dramatic? Fine, I'll find you a place. But just remember, Hunter's not the kind of guy you can just walk away from. Relax. I'm not the same lovesick fool I used to be. If Hunter tries anything, okay, fine. I didn't know what I'd do yet. Hunter was pretty terrifying, but whatever. I'd cross that bridge when I came to it. Once everything was packed, I sent Hunter a message. Hunter, let's part on good terms. The divorce agreement is ready. I'll have my lawyer send it to your office tomorrow. Please sign it. Then I powered off my phone, pulled out the SIM card, and flushed it down the toilet. Without looking back, I walked out of the villa. I didn't care how Hunter would react. From this moment on, I was going to live for me. I was going to find my own happiness. I was going to travel the world, chase freedom, embrace adventure. Okay, fine. I chickened out a little. In the end, I decided to hide somewhere for a while and wait for things to calm down. Let's be real, if Hunter and I really fought, I'd lose, badly. 7. 2 months passed, and nothing. No news from the company, no news from Hunter, which was perfect. I was living my best, stress-free life. Jasper walked in just as I was beating the crap out of a life-sized Hunter body pillow. Yes, that body pillow, the one I custom-made when I couldn't get the real Hunter to let me mark him. It had his exact build, his face, even his scent. I thought maybe, if I couldn't have the man, I could at least mark the pillow. Hunter had found it once. I nearly died that day. Now that he wasn't around, the pillow made for a great punching bag. You've been out for 2 months and you're still not over him? Jasper asked, biting into an apple like he was watching a soap opera. I'm not over him, I'm venting. Get it? I snapped, launching another punch into the pillow's abs. Sure, vent away. He shrugged, then, with a smirk, added, just don't cuddle with it tonight. Yeah, critical hit. I collapsed to the floor, wailing. Why him? I'm amazing. I'm sweet. I'm everything anyone could want. Why did he choose Miles? Jasper finally rolled his eyes, clearly fed up. He pulled me up by the arm. Enough. I'm gonna help you. One last time. Bro code and all. 8. This is your plan. I stared, deadpan, at the glitzy, high-end nightclub in front of us. Yep. Jasper grinned like he'd won the lottery. Best club in the city. Every kind of Omega you can imagine. I guarantee you'll find someone better than that bastard. If Hunter finds out, he'll kill me. Because yeah, turns out, we weren't even officially divorced yet. This counted as cheating. Smack. Jasper thwacked the back of my head. Seriously? Hunter can go flirt with every Omega in town but you can't have a drink? He glared. Don't forget why you left in the first place. Oh, right. Suddenly I saw the light. Why was I chasing after that cold, smug, emotionally constipated alpha, when I had a literal buffet of sweet, soft Omegas waiting for me, especially when he was too busy with his 300-chapter angst fest with Miles? Let's go. 9. Gotta admit, Omegas really are something else. Soft, warm, affectionate, and, best of all, they actually listen. I picked one whose compatibility rating was through the roof, ready for a night of drinking and distraction, but partway through the night, he kept giving me weird looks, like he was trying to recognize me. Then he pointed a finger and gasped. Oh, I remember now. You're that wanted criminal. Excuse me, you and your whole family are wanted criminals. If he'd been an alpha, I would have decked him on the spot. Unfortunately, he was an Omega, so I had to play nice. He scurried off and returned with a wanted poster, freshly ripped off the wall. By the looks of it, right there on the page was my photo, printed big and bold. Below it, a laundry list of fake charges: DUI, harassing Omegas, illegal confinement, assault, and even molesting over 70 alphas. Hunter had lost his mind. Why not accuse me of assaulting the entire galaxy while he was at it? And that bounty, a full 100 million. 100 million. I stared at the poster, eyes going red. If I turned myself in, would I technically be rich? You really are the guy on the poster? The Omega's voice trembled, eyes wide with terror. I grabbed his hand, beaming. Yup, that's me. Go report me, then we can split the bounty and elope. Genius plan. I'd get rid of Hunter, bag some serious cash, and run off into the sunset with a beauty. Triple win. What do you think, babe? Isn't this a perfect plan? I stared at him, full of hope. He stared back, like I was insane, then pulled out his phone, and called the authorities. Betrayal. Pure, merciless betrayal, but not as bad as Jasper's betrayal. He was grinning like a fox, practically drooling. Yes sir, Gabriel's right here. So, about that bounty. Yep, looking forward to it. Thanks, see you soon. Once he hung up, his whole attitude shifted back to casual indifference. Sorry bro, but you pissed off the wrong guy. He patted my shoulder like I was already dead. Good luck, you're gonna need it. Jasper, you snake, you sold me out for money. Not just money, it's 200 million now. He held up 2 fingers, wiggling them proudly. Hunter said he'd double it if I brought you to him personally. I was gonna kill him. Then, just as I was about to run, the tracker app on my still open phone sent a blaring alert. Shit, I bolted for the door, and ran straight into a wall of muscle. That familiar scent of sandalwood surrounded me. Hunter, I looked up into those deep eyes of his, now burning with a frightening red glow. What's wrong? He growled. Why'd you stop running? One arm locked around my waist, the other gripped my chin, forcing me to meet his gaze. Hunter, listen, I can explain. Sure, he said coolly. I'm all ears. Explain why you ran. Explain why you want a divorce. And explain why you were hooking up with another Omega. His voice was calm, but every word dripped with rage. And, was that hurt in his tone? Was I hallucinating, or did Hunter actually sound wounded? Before I could speak, he slung me over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes. Hunter, what are you doing? Put me down. I pounded on his back in protest. He didn't respond, just kept striding forward with firm, confident steps. You jerk, let go of me. Smack, smack. He gave me 2 light spanks, weirdly gentle, a little too gentle, also, kinda embarrassing. I shut up. 10. Splash. The shower water sprayed out, freezing cold, making me shiver uncontrollably. I struggled to stand up, but Hunter pushed me back down into the tub and started scrubbing me from head to toe like I was a dirty dog, especially around my waist, the spot where my Omega side touched him. He practically rubbed off a layer of skin. Hunter, are you sick or what? It's just a shower. Why are you scrubbing so hard? I raised my eyes to glare at him. The bright bathroom lights fully illuminated him. His handsome face was cold and icy but still captivating. Looking down his collarbone, I saw his two well-defined chest muscles, subtly outlined beneath his loosened shirt. I swallowed hard. Hunter, maybe stop messing around and just bite me already? If I'm going down, I might as well go all out. At worst, the plot reaches my part and I commit suicide. Hunter stayed silent, continuing to wash me. His touch made me feel alive and on fire. So, I attacked his chest, soft, springy, and so tempting. Hee, worth every painful second. Hunter raised his hand to me, and instinctively, I lifted my face toward it. Then my hips jerked sharply. So bold, I stared at Hunter, stunned. His gaze was calm, but his pheromones instantly overwhelmed all my senses. Unlike before, where he held back and restrained himself, this time Hunter's pheromones blasted free, strong, dominant, aggressive, utterly impossible to refuse. By the time Hunter pulled me from the water, the scent of orange soda pheromones filled the whole room. So intense. No wonder he's an alpha. My legs turned to jelly, barely able to stand, leaning on Hunter for support as I gasped for breath. Hunter, tone it down, or I won't be able to mark you. Hunter's eyes darkened, his lips pressing into a tight line. You don't need to. Before I could react, he threw me onto the soft bed, then his tall frame covered me, pinning me firmly beneath him. Hunter, you. His mouth covered mine, kissing densely and intensely. I lost track of how long he kissed me, but damn, he knew exactly how to kiss. I nearly drowned in his tenderness, but soon, I realized something was off. Hunter, where exactly are you kissing? He kept biting. I panicked. I'm Enigma. His mouth didn't stop, neither did his hands, and my pheromones couldn't suppress his at all. After all his previous behavior, even my lovesick brain finally clicked. Hunter might not actually be an alpha. That won't do. How could my sweet wife turn out to be a fierce alpha husband? I desperately tried to push back, but suddenly my knees went weak, and I collapsed on his abs, refusing to move. So embarrassing. Hunter chuckled low, rubbing my face with his wet fingers. That usually cold, sharp mouth was now teasing. Not Enigma. Why so wet at the slightest touch? Speak. He covered my mouth. Our pheromones matched 100%, amplified infinitely in that moment. I trembled violently, not like a biological cycle, it was a total surrender, an unbreakable, genetic domination. Isn't this the marking? I asked shakily. Can we start now? Hunter smiled wickedly, lips curling. Not yet. He cupped my face with those beautiful hands, forcing me to meet his gaze. Marking is for life. There's a process. He lowered his eyes, pressing his lips to mine again. 11. A wild night. When I woke up, my whole body felt like it had been run over by a truck, especially that part, overstretched, sore, and swollen. I turned my head to look at Hunter beside me. He was still asleep, his long lashes casting shadows under his eyelids. So peaceful and innocent it was almost unbelievable. Hunter was stunningly handsome. Just that face alone almost made me forgive everything, even being forcibly marked. But why did he have to be someone else's main alpha? Thinking this, I bit his smooth back in frustration, leaving a clear teeth mark. Gabriel, were you born a dog? Hunter woke with a groan, voice hoarse from sleep. Yeah, I'm a dog. What about it? I defended myself proudly, even thinking about biting him again. Hunter grabbed my hand, flipped me under him, and pinned me down. Looks like you didn't work hard enough last night. Still got energy to bite me. His kiss fell, punishing and demanding, roaming and sucking. I was kissed silly, almost dragged back into last night's madness. Wait, I pushed him away hard, gasping for air. Hunter, what gender are you? Really? Hunter raised an eyebrow. Didn't you find out last night? So, you already knew you were Enigma? Yeah, then why didn't you tell me? Would you still have married me and helped pay off my debts if I told you? I was speechless. Probably not. At least, I'd hesitate. After all, like Jasper said, no alpha wants to be marked, especially not an Enigma. The top of the line. Now you tell me, why did you suddenly leave and want a divorce? I avoided his eyes, feeling guilty, because, we're not right for each other. I don't want to continue. Not right for each other? Hunter scoffed. 100% pheromone compatibility means not right? Or are you saying we're not right in bed? That's not what I meant. Then what? Because of that Omega, Hunter suddenly mentioned Miles. Voice icy. What did he say to you? I looked up sharply at Hunter. He didn't say anything. I figured it out myself. Figured out what? That you saw us together and got jealous? I'm not jealous. I just knew the plot and didn't want to be cannon fodder anymore. But how could I tell Hunter that? He'd think I was crazy. What just, I buzzed like a mosquito. Just that you and him are more suited. I don't want to be the third party. Third party? Gabriel, are you nuts? There's nothing between me and him. You're my legal partner. Hunter frowned, looking at me like I was insane. But you two are the main alpha and omega. You're the perfect pair. I'm just the villain. The cannon fodder meant to be killed off by you both. I got more worked up, tears falling uncontrollably. I don't want to die. I don't want to be locked in a mental hospital or killed by a bunch of alphas. I couldn't finish. I was sobbing harder than before. Hunter stared at me, silent for a long moment. Then, uncertainly, he asked, "Did I accidentally break your brain last time?" I blinked, trying to detect a joke on his face. But he was serious. "Gabriel, I'm taking you to see a doctor. I'm not sick. You must be sick. Otherwise, why would you say these things and even want a divorce?" No argument. Of course, from Hunter's point of view, someone who loved him so much, followed him blindly, suddenly going crazy flirting with other Omegas and demanding a divorce, anyone would think they'd lost it. 12. Without a word, Hunter took me straight to the hospital. After a series of tests, the doctor said I was physically healthy but mentally a bit off. When asked why, the doctor explained it was because I'd been in a sensitive period too long without comfort from a partner, leading to mental confusion. The brain is a delicate thing, it needs care, or problems arise. The doctor took a serious sip of strong tea, then spat out some tea leaves. I was speechless. "Doctor, is there hope for him?" Hunter asked seriously. "Well, it depends, but generally speaking, if you properly soothe him with your pheromones, there's a good chance." "Thanks, doctor." After paying, Hunter shoved me into the car and took me home. On the way, I thought hard about how to convince Hunter I wasn't crazy. But before I could figure it out, Hunter carried me into the bedroom. "Hunter, what are you doing?" I eyed him warily. "Helping you heal," he said as he started undressing me. "I really don't have any illness. Don't do anything weird. Whether you're sick isn't your call. The doctor said to soothe you with my pheromones to help you recover. But, no buts. Be good and cooperate, okay?" That face was so convincing that I obediently gave in again. But after 3 days of Hunter's so-called treatment, I couldn't take it anymore. "Hunter, enough. What happened to the you who didn't want me touching you?" After biting him again, Hunter finally mumbled, "It's not that I didn't want to. I was afraid you'd hate me marking you. But I don't hate it. Yet you still left." Hearing that, everything became clear. Turns out he was just conflicted. Hunter had seriously underestimated his own deadly charm, and how bold I was. "Then just hide if you want. Why hit me?" My face still stung. Hunter lowered his eyelids and asked, "Aren't you upset?" "No, I'm not." 13. Hunter gave me back my phone and even upgraded my tracking software. According to him, this new software was more advanced, with better functions, not only real-time tracking, but also listening in and even remote control. I thought about it. "So you've known you were monitoring me all along?" "Yeah." "Then why did you still go to the bar? To see if you'd get jealous?" I was speechless. "I wouldn't give up that easily." "Then why did you let that Omega get close to you?" "I knew you were out and wanted to see if you'd get angry." Could he not know how angry I'd be? I'd smashed so many places for him already. "Then why didn't you answer my messages or calls?" Hunter smirked and said 4 words, "Playing hard to get." I got it. This guy wasn't some aloof flower, he was a calculating black-hearted lotus. 14. After I made up with Hunter, Jasper disappeared. He claimed it was to avoid being a third wheel, but I knew he was just scared of me getting back at him. After all, he took 200 million from Hunter and sold me out. Still, I didn't plan to hold a grudge. Without him, who knows how long Hunter and I would have stayed twisted. In a way, he was like our matchmaker. Half a month later, he finally couldn't help himself and messaged to apologize. "Dad, not mad anymore, right?" I smiled at the message. The guy was as shameless as ever. "Get lost, please, Dad. I was wrong, really wrong. I'll kneel." "Okay, whether you kneel is none of my business." "How is that none of your business? You're my dad. Go away. Stop being such a sycophant." "Who are you chatting with?" Hunter's voice suddenly came from behind, startling me. "No one, just a fool," I said casually and put the phone aside. Hunter came over, wrapped his arms around me from behind, resting his chin on my shoulder. "How much of a fool?" "Just the kind who'd sell his own brother for 200 million. "Oh, that is pretty foolish." Hunter nodded approvingly. "By the way, I developed a new app recently. Want to try?" "What app?" A dating app. A dating app. I was curious. How does it work? It simulates all kinds of dating scenarios, lets you experience different romance modes. And Hunter's voice lowered until he whispered a few words in my ear. I blushed. Is your app serious? Serious or not? Try it and find out. He took my hand and led me to the study. Wait, it's daytime. No problem. I'll pull the curtains, just like nighttime. But, no buts. Be good and try it with me. Such loving eyes. The study door closed, and soon strange noises started coming from inside. 15. 3 months later, I went back to the hospital for a checkup. The doctor said my condition wasn't fully healed. At its core, I still couldn't accept my partner's touch. The past beatings combined with being completely marked as an enigma made it hard to open up, no matter how many times we tried. Hunter didn't say much about it. 16. Maybe afraid I'd run off again. Hunter didn't go to work and stayed home with me. He called it nursing. I sat on the sofa, bored, watching TV. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Hunter sitting at the desk not far away, working on paperwork. He wore dark gray loungewear, his hair a little messy, but it didn't detract from his handsomeness. It actually made him look more relaxed and approachable. If only he'd stop talking. Gabriel, come here. Hunter suddenly spoke, breaking the quiet. I lazily looked up at him. What? Come help me rub my shoulders. Don't you have hands? Hunter didn't look up. My hands are busy with more important things right now. What's more important than your own body? Making money. Supporting you. I was speechless. Well, for your honesty, I'll reluctantly help. I stood and went behind Hunter, putting my hands on his shoulders, gently kneading. Not bad. Hunter's shoulders were broad and firm. Nice to touch. Gabriel, do you like my body? Hunter asked suddenly. It's okay. Why? I was surprised by the question. If you like it, you can touch it every day. Really? That good? No tricks, right? You're not plotting something, are you? No. I just think that since we're married, we should be honest, even about our bodies. Yeah. Hunter nodded seriously. Can I touch your abs then? I cautiously asked. Sure. Hunter answered without hesitation. Then, I swallowed and pushed further. Can I kiss your chest muscles? Okay. His voice changed slightly but he agreed. Then, can I mark you? I was very careful this time, afraid he'd say no. Hunter was silent. Just when I thought he would refuse, he suddenly said, we'll see. It depends on your performance. What does that mean? You're still unstable in many ways. So marking can wait. Alright, looks like marking Hunter will be a long journey, but that's fine. I have plenty of time and patience. One day, I'll make Hunter willingly marked by me. I quietly vowed. Then Hunter pulled me close, kissed me until the world went dark.